What up, guys? I got the cone reducer in the mail, and I took the hose off of the straight fitting, put it on there. I need to get another huge adjustable or figure out what size this lower nut is, because I didn't realize this was a swivel. I thought it was fixed on the pipe, and I started to well, for some reason the vise wouldn't hold it, and I tried to just do it with it mounted to the tank, and it started to swivel. So I need to get another real big adjustable. But I got that tacked onto the, sorry, I just accidentally ended the video. I just marked where I have to cut it. You guys probably can't see it, but there's a mark on this side over here. So I just left some extra room. I'm gonna cut it towards the top of here and then just readjust, because this also isn't fully seated. So that's gonna take a little bit of hose away. So yeah, I'm gonna probably drop this tank again and pull that fitting off. Well, actually, I can just cut this hose right here, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, I'll probably just grab the grinder and cut this hose real quick and see how it looks. Oh, you guys couldn't handle all the vibration. That's alright, because I did a terrible cut on this anyway. They tell you to put it in the vise to hold it still, and I see why now, because this does vibrate quite a bit. So I'm gonna see if I can make this swivel to help me get it in the right orientation here. This hose was pretty bent, I guess you could call it. So it looks like it's honestly, you guys probably can't see that mark, but my mark is literally at the end of my tape line, so I'm definitely gonna have to trim it much shorter. It's kind of funny that I bought all this hose and I'm gonna end up using like 6 inches of it, but it's all right. It should look good in the end. So yeah, I'm just gonna mess with this a little bit and see what else I can get accomplished today. Amazon failed to deliver the fuel line, so I made a complaint. At first they told me they would refund me. I told them I need a replacement. They connected me to somebody else. They told me to contact them in another business day. And then I contacted them the next day, and they told me that they have to do an investigation, and I have to wait 3 business days to hear the results. So, kind of ridiculous, but I'm hoping I get a replacement and maybe some kind of credit or something, because I told them the first time I needed this item by the weekend, and they said they'll do their best, but now they're obviously not going to deliver because today's the weekend. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm just gonna try and get as much as I can done today. Still need to figure out what I want to do about this intercooler. I mean, eventually I'll go external wastegate, so that won't even be an issue. I'm gonna think about my options, and maybe if I can find a stock 0207 WRX intercooler, I'll pick that up for cheap just to get me by. And then once I go external, I can put this one back on. We'll see what happens. Yeah. So, and I still need to measure these brake lines that I haven't done. So, probably get that done today, so then I can have all the measurements and the angles of the fittings and send that to Chase Bays, and maybe order that in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Alright guys, I was trying to do a test on the fuel pump and maybe test start the car, but for some reason the fuel pump is not priming. I'm 99% sure I had it plugged in to the sending unit, but I'm gonna pull it back down, take it out and double check. I'm not getting any fuel or any noise from the fuel pump, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. Pretty sure At first I thought maybe it was because I didn't have the fuel pump controller hooked up, but I hooked that up and still nothing. So I'm gonna pull the tank back down and see what's up. I'll just show you guys. I'm not getting, I need the key. I'm not getting any noise or fuel coming out of the feed line. Nothing coming out of there. So I don't know what the deal is. Maybe real quick, I'll just check the fuse, figure out which fuse it is for the fuel pump. Actually, I put all new fuses in here. Yeah, I'm not even gonna bother with that. First I was thinking maybe it was a bad fuse, but I'm pretty sure that I put all new fuses in. Alright guys, we got it figured out. I just real quick figured out which wire was the main relay wire, if that makes sense. I just looked at the relay over there, figured out which was the fattest one going towards the pump, and then traced the fattest one going back. And what happened was this connection that has the bolt in, I never tightened that up, and so it wasn't even getting a connection there. So now I tested it twice. We're getting fuel, so I'm gonna put this back on the fuel rail, fuel line, whatever you want to call it. Wow. Oh, don't do that. That was not what I was intending. Anyway, I'm gonna hook this back up, tighten this clamp, and see if we can get this thing to fire up maybe for at least a half a second. There's 1,001 vacuum leaks and a ton of stuff not hooked up, so we'll see what happens. I'm gonna pause it, get this tight, and maybe wait for this fuel to evaporate a little bit first. I don't know. Alright guys, this will be the first official test start now that we know the pump's working. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I think we might be leaking out of the... Oh no. Why are we leaking out of... We're leaking out of fuel filter. Alright, gotta figure that out. Alright, so we were also definitely leaking out of the return line here, so I put that in the bottle. Nothing was majorly loose. I tightened this fitting up, and the other fitting seems to be fully tightened and flush, so I'm not sure why that leaked. I'm hoping it's just that little bit extra that I tightened that. We'll find out. It actually started to go, and I realized I wasn't filming, so I real quick stopped. Whew, sounds like a lawnmower. It's got a misfire or two. Well, that was the official first start. Alright guys, on that note, I'm going to end the video. I just took the measurements for the brake lines going to the rear. I just used some wiring, zip tied it up to where I needed it to be, and ran it back, and then took it down, measured it with the tape measure. I got those. I'm gonna hit up Chase Bays and see what I'm looking at for the kit to be made up. I'm pretty happy with hearing this thing start, and It's getting hot out. I don't really feel like welding anything. I think what I'm gonna do is, you know, just make sure everything is 100% once more, and then I'm probably gonna drop this whole rear suspension, subframe and all, and I'm gonna start getting into welding all this. I think that I could probably knock out all this welding in the rear in one day, between taking everything apart, welding it, and then, you know, well, prepping it, welding it, putting it back together. I'm thinking one day I can get this rear end done, hopefully, but I just want everything out of here, no obstructions, you know, fuel tank, rear suspension, everything. So that's gonna happen soon. Like I said in the past video, I kind of want to wait till I'm able to use my friend's welder to do that, but if it comes to the point where we're not getting anything done and we still can't use the welder, then I'll start just making do with the old trusty. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's definitely one of the most exciting moments of this build so far, is hearing this thing start. Now that I know that my wiring's good enough to make it run and all that, I'm gonna start taping up and organizing this harness a lot more. It's one major reason I wasn't trying to organize and tape up the harness too much, is because I was afraid I'd have to tear back into it. So I'm gonna do a little more taping and routing and all that good stuff, and we're gonna get this thing looking more like a car each and every day. Hopefully those brake lines don't cost too much, because that's honestly kind of the next step to next piece to the puzzle, so that we can actually move it and stop it. I think next project will also be getting this shifter mount situated, because that's going to be a problem. If I can't shift it, we can't move it. So we got to figure out something with that shifter mount. I was thinking either just get a spacer and a very long bolt, maybe as a temporary, or we can cut this piece out and weld it closer to the bushing. So those are the two options for that. We could probably finalize these axles. I don't know about that. Might wait for that. We got to clearance this here. Excuse me. Oh, and most importantly, well, not most important, but before we get ahead of ourselves, we need a cooling system. No radiator I've found fits this car. I've already come to the conclusion I'll probably have to get one made. So I'll most likely use my same friend who I used to build the fuel cell to do that. I'm gonna have to get him some dimensions. We'll have to order some ends, and then we'll have to excuse me, we will have to build that up. Now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of want to, this might sound ignorant, but I got this extra hose. If we order another foot, probably, I think we could possibly do all the radiator hose out of AN. I don't know, just a thought. I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I mean, honestly, this, we weld a bung here. Sorry, my phone is so bad. We weld a bung there, and then just make the fitting on the rad right here. It'll be like super close. That'll be, I mean, I can use a quarter of the length of this hose, and I'll make it to that. And then right here, honestly, I probably won't even have to order another foot, because then I'll just do a 90-degree bung there, a straight bung on the, or I guess it kind of depends on how the rad's gonna be. I don't know, it's gonna be tough down here because of how tight it will be. I think, honestly, I think if we do a 90-degree bung facing forward, and then just have the other one coming straight out of the rad, I think that'll work great, actually. Wow, that's pretty cool. I think I just came up with something there. So that'll be another expensive item, but it's gonna be necessary, and it'll look great in the end, so it'll be worth it. Alright guys, I'm gonna end the video. Thanks for watching.